All right, it's been a while since I have been here, but welcome to Highway 80. This is going south to north from basically the Old Fort area on Old 70, kind of near Marion, kind of near Morganton, but a little further away. This is going north to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Unfortunately, today we've got kind of crappy weather. It's been, it's kind of in the summertime where we just get all the pop-up storms and things like that. So this is one of those things you just can't avoid sometimes. But where I got started from was there's a little dam that really you're not supposed to park at, and I guess they've had a lot of people, getting hurt or messing things up there. So it's supposed to be kind of off limits, but pulled over there to set up the cameras and got a couple kind of neat looking photos there too. Highway 80, especially when it's not pouring down rain, is definitely on my top 5 favorite roads. You can kind of see from even just how we're looking at things right now, the pavement is in really good shape. I forget how many years ago now they repaved it, but it's been at least 2 or 3, if not longer than that. It's got some elevation changes, so it gets a little steeper and a little windier as you get closer to the top of the mountain. And there's a ton of kind of faster corners and stuff like that as well, kind of snuck throughout things. There's that lovely afternoon thunderstorms. It doesn't help that it's like right at 4 o'clock, which is the time of day for rainstorms. 80 is one of those roads that you can really just enjoy on its own. You can just go up to the parkway and back and get enough of it out of that. You can just run the road a bunch of times because it's probably about, I think, 10 miles or so from where we are to where the Blue Ridge Parkway is. So it's a pretty fun route. It kind of reminds me of like 276 and 215, where it's a long enough road and twisty enough road that it's got more than enough to offer just by itself. But of course, getting up to the Blue Ridge Parkway is a really great ride either direction. If you want to connect things to a little Switzerland, maybe you're staying in town, you want to rent a little cabins or there's a little hotel there, you can. There's a couple of restaurants and stuff in that area. Or as I'm kind of doing with my next meet, is this is going to connect us all the way through Linville, west of Boone, and up into the 321 and 421, and even a little bit of 221. So all these really fun little mountain roads. 421 is the snake, which everybody knows. No surprise. I saw this camper forever ago. I would have thought they were further along. It's not an ideal setup to drive up here, I'll tell you that. See if they'll pull over, we'll find a spot. All right, yay for passing lanes. So I'm fairly certain the main reason why it's pouring like it is today is because I washed my car and tried to do a pretty good job of doing so, even a little bit of tire shine, and I'm pretty sure that is the reason why it's pouring rain. I can go 2 weeks without washing this car and we'll have great weather anytime I want to go driving, but the one day that I take 30 minutes to just get it cleaned up, this is what happens. It just pours for God knows how long. I'm sure y'all can feel the same. So I like to kind of talk about some of these roads based on, I love this church right here. It's always a sketchy corner by the church. I feel like that church kind of signifies, and that little bridge crossing is kind of where the juicy bits of this road starts. And just to kind of update you, we're about 7 miles from the top of the mountain. So it's pretty good, those first 3 miles there, down 3-4 miles to the bottom. But I feel like this is kind of where it kind of starts getting going. But I like to talk about these roads as far as what kind of cars and vehicles could enjoy it. And 80 is one of those, and it's part of the reason why it's in my top 5. You can enjoy this with anything. I mean, I don't know about so much like scenic stuff to do off the side of the road here like there is maybe like on 276 with waterfalls. I'm sure there's got to be some trails and something somewhere through here, but there's some campgrounds and whatnot. But it's really just a connector road, a little scenic highway, if you will. And I think it's great on motorcycles. I think it's great in cars. I don't think it's great when you've got a truck and a camper, of course. But the pavement's smooth enough. I think the road is fairly predictable. I do have to warn you that And it was like this kind of before, but I've even noticed it today. Since they repaved this and even before, there is a pretty sharp shoulder drop off on the outsides of the white lines here. It's probably maybe 3 inches or so from the pavement down to the dirt, and there's all kinds of ditches. So I know years ago, even before they paved it, there was like a big pothole on the inside of the corner, and I cut it a little bit too short and dropped one of my wheels in and flattened the tire. Now obviously they've repaved it since then, so that shouldn't be a problem. However, you can still have the same problem if you drop the tire off to the side of the road. So unlike places like the Tail of the Dragon and others that have tons of extra pavement on the outside of the white lines, you pretty much just get like very little, maybe 2 to 3 inches. There's a little bit right there, but you don't get much. So not a whole lot of leeway there. So it's a tight road, makes it kind of fun. There used to be, like right there, really easy corner just to try to cut in a little bit. And you can't do it because there's just not a whole lot of pavement there. There's not like much in the gravel runoff or anything either. But what I was gonna say is, years ago, there used to be a photographer, and if I remember right, his name or his pseudonym or whatever was Blind Kenny, which I always thought was kind of funny because he's a photographer. So I don't know if the guy was actually blind in one eye or if there was some story behind it, but there was even a corner called Blind Kenny Corner, and he would sit up here and take photos. Now that was forever ago, and honestly the last few times that I've been up this road, I have not seen any photographers. I'm not saying that they don't show up. If they do, I'd love to know, because especially if there's a schedule. But Blind Kenny used to be up here a lot like Killboy and was taking photos, so it was really kind of cool. Just look how much fun this road is. Even though it's soaking wet and there's leaves all over it, I mean, this kind of asphalt looks like glass right now, the way it's just got it. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not even driving that hard, and traction control's already kicking in. But God, the corners on this road, they're just so quick and they're just so smooth. You just kind of dip in. There's little switches here and there. There's a lot more of the really tight, twisty stuff at the top, sharper hairpins. But man, I just love these little kinks and switchbacks, and just like right here, a quick left and a quick right, back to another quick left. I mean, it's just, this is like the character of road that I just love. I'm like in third gear, and I just can't, even at like 3,000 RPMs, I can't put anything down. Nice little break from the rain at least. Maybe it'll stay like this and dry up by the time we get to the top of the mountain. Probably not. When I was at the bottom of the mountain, I could tell it was already raining here because the cloud had just been sitting here for a minute. And I tell you, you got to be careful, especially in the fall when you have weather like this. I don't know if it comes through on the GoPro, but when you get a lot of wet leaves on the pavement, that's when you can start to have some real issues. Because the wet pavement's already a problem. You throw some nice big fat slimy leaves on there in the water, and it's just like putting plastic trays on your tires. I have all of my driver safety stuff on because I mean, I can turn it all off, but when it's like this, I'm not really going to be driving that hard. But even still, it's just traction control on every corner. But look at this. God, I love this right here. Just a little S into a hairpin. It's just a gorgeous road. Like it, you just kind of feel like you're driving on like a video game with the way the road is. And especially now that they've got this pavement pretty well graded. A little bit of a hill climb. A little decreasing radius. Love it. So we're 3 miles from the top right now. And this is the part where you can, I don't know if it shows you on the GoPro, but I can see the road up above us, much like 276 near Caesar's Head, where you start to get enough elevation gain where it's just switchback after switchback, just climbing a little 100 feet here. You can see how much fun this road would be if it weren't soaking wet. It's still tons of fun though. I'm very happy to be on it, especially since this is about an hour from where I live, west of Asheville. And any reason to be up on this road is a good enough reason for me. I've done videos up here before. This won't be my first one on the channel. if you want to see it in the dry. Here's another one of those switchbacks. Oh god, this one's a tight one. And of course, can't put anything down. Even with nice big wide tires, it's just pointless. I can imagine if I was in my front wheel drive 7th gen Celica, I would be just understeering on every corner. And if I was in my green Celica, I'd still be having problems with rear traction. So here we are. You can see we're going to jump on the parkway right here. It's a little bit of a interesting intersection. A lot of people miss when you get to the top because you got to make this left turn, and then it's just a very short little on-ramp to get onto the parkway. I usually like to go north from here, which is a right turn. And I'll show you, it's about 2 miles from where we are. It looks like 1.9 miles is a really famous and popular overlook, which I'm glad at least it's not raining right this second. It's a good spot to park. There's plenty of room for cars and good photo opportunities. Gorgeous views if there's not any clouds up here, of course. But yeah, that's Highway 80. Oh yeah, you can just see the mountains right here. It's gorgeous. But that's Highway 80. Freaking love it. Can't wait to share it with it on the beat. It's been a few years since I've included that one. All right, here's the pull off. I think it's like the Black Balsam Overlook or something like that. Oh, I'll watch out for these cars. This is a very popular stop for anybody that enjoys this road. I'll whip up my cell phone here and give you guys a little bit of a taste of what the road looks like from the overlook. But thanks again for watching. That's Highway 80. Subscribe for some more videos.